Hi TikTok. Today we're going to talk about caster and camber in alignment. Now we've been working on this 78 Corvette for a while now, and you guys have seen me trying to overcome different obstacles and getting this thing lined up, and probably wondering what tool I'm using to line this thing up with. That's this apparatus on the side here, and I'm going to give you a brief rundown of it. It is a at-home alignment kit made by Quick Trick, and it is super handy, guys. So I'm not going to go into setting the tool up itself. I'm going to walk through what I'm doing to align the car, and in a separate video I'll show you how to put the tool and stuff together. But it is super handy. It comes in this really cool carrying case, so everything fits in here. It's got their card in there. So what I'm going to talk about now is how we're going to set this thing up to get our frame of reference for doing our alignment. So on a car with fully independent suspension, meaning each tire can move independently of each other, it doesn't have a solid axle in it, one of the key things to getting a good alignment is making sure that the tires are sitting flat, or wherever they're going to sit. So before you do anything, I take and I back my car out to the top of the driveway and pull it back in. That gives enough feet for that tire, instead of sitting like this, to go ahead and flatten out wherever it's going to be. So we're going to pull it up into the shop, and we're going to get obviously out of the way of any of the other stuff here, but we're going to pull it up in here, shut it off, and we're going to use our turntables. Now these are not the turntables that Quick Trick offers, and honestly I kind of I messed up getting a different brand. These are from Speedway Motors. There's only two deciding factors in that. One was the way the handle was made, and the other one was the diameter. So these are 14-inch turntables, and for the 35-inch mutters on my other trucks, I thought that's what I was going to need. So anyway, you're going to set your turntables up in front of the car, and what I do is I take a tape measure, and I'm going to set it dead center with the center tread of the car and set both turntables in equal distance. So measuring to the center of the turntable, whatever that may be, 16, 12, whatever, it doesn't matter as long as they're identical. That way, as the car rolls forward onto the turntables, it's rolling in equal distance onto each turntable, and you want to stop just dead center with the turntable as close as you can. That way you don't try to twist the plate as the car turns. So, from there, I'm going to make sure your steering wheel is unlocked. So that's one click forward on the ignition, not to the on position, but just a click forward to disengage that pin. And then you are going to eyeball up your tire as close to straight as you can with the back tire. And you're going to make your 0 mark on your plate. I'm just using a Sharpie for this. So what that does, it gives you an accurate camber measure because your tire is straight in line with your other tire, at least for now it is. We'll talk about toe and thrust angle stuff in a different video. We're just trying to get our caster and camber close because remember, this suspension is all brand new. There's no reference of any kind. It's all new. So anyway, to recap, you're going to pull your car in, you're going to set it on the turntables, dead center, equal distance, and you're going to square your tire up best you can. So now let's talk about mounting the kit itself. So you've got 3 contact points, 2 on the lower, 1 on the upper, and I put just a tiny bit of blue masking tape on here so it doesn't scratch the wheel, because these little things are kind of sharp. Now, one thing to note is that I have made my own thumb screws. It comes with a Allen bolt and an Allen wrench, and I've messed with this enough I got tired of carrying the wrench around. This is no fault of the Quick Trick guys. If you were to add these little knobs to everywhere on all this kit, it would add quite a bit of cost to the kit. But like I said, I've been working through so many issues and changing this around. I just made my own thumb screws. This is nothing but a 1/4-20 bolt with a 5/16 wing nut welded on. So you're gonna set your apparatus on here, and you're gonna get it just a little bit tight, and you're gonna use this bungee that comes with the kit to hold it tight against the wheel. Now you don't want to just cinch down on it, because you still need to be able to tweak and move it just a little bit. So one of the other things that comes with the kit is this little digital level. So in measuring camber, you're going to start off with your digital level. You'll turn it on, and this button right in the middle, this Alt 0, is what zeroes out, what tells it where level is. So you're going to set it in front of your tire. You zero it out, and it's going to beep whenever it's zeroed. You guys probably can't hear that with the fan running. But from there, you're going to check your vertical. And again, you guys probably can't see that. You're going to make sure that you're right on 90 degrees. That's where that little bit of adjustment comes in. And it'll beep again when it comes to 90 degrees. So then, you're going to take and tighten your level up dead flush with this vertical. That's why you have this screw here to hold it on with, and then there's an adjustment screw on the back here that allows you to tilt up and down. But you're going to make sure you're good and solid and you're tight against this vertical here. And we're showing about negative 0.6 degrees camber. And that's going to vary just a tiny bit. This level is super accurate, so as long as you're within a tenth, you should be okay. And plus, when you're dealing with a shim alignment, it's a little hard to get it just exactly spot on, because you're moving a specified amount at a time. It's not like turning a bolt or a screw in. So that is our camber measurement, and we're just almost right at spec. Spec for this car is negative 0.5, so we're pretty close. Now the difference in the way that I'm using the kit versus the instructions is on these older cars, you're supposed to swing 20 degrees both ways for your caster measurement. On these older cars, you don't always have 20 degrees. They just weren't made that way. So we're going to use 15. So we're going to use this third tick mark here for 15 degrees. So we're going to turn our tire back where our mark's on 15. We're going to zero out our level again, and we're going to turn it forward to 15, and that's going to give us 2.5. So where this differs from the instructions is you're going to multiply by 2 instead of multiplying by 1.5. So 2.5 times 2 is 5. We are right at the top end of our spec. For a caster on this car, we have a spec range of 3 to 5 degrees positive. So this is close enough that we'll be able to run with it, drive the car a little bit, and see how it handles. So that's it as far as checking the alignment. Now, we're going to switch over to the top of the car, and I'll show you guys what it looks like and how the shims work. So now we are on top of the car, and we're going to talk a little bit about how the shims work and how they relate to the adjustments. So you have 2 bolts, front and rear, that hold your upper control arm on, and the shims go in between the frame mount and the crossbar on the A-arm. So the way that the shims work is if you're going to adjust caster, you will add shims to either the front or the rear bolt. As you add shims to the front bolt, it moves this arm forward in negative caster. As you add them to the rear bolt, it moves it back in positive caster. So we have moved this one forward to get us at 5 degrees of caster, which is the very top end of the spec. This is 2 1/8 inch and a 1/16 inch shim up here. Now a pro tip is you can put a piece of duct tape on top here, just a little shred of it. That keeps those things from wiggling around everywhere while you're trying to move them in and out. So that's the best we're going to do on caster, because I've got 0 shims in the back for camber. So for camber, you're going to add shims or subtract shims to both bolts, the same amount of shims at the same time. So as you add shims front and back, you're going to move this arm in, which is going to increase negative camber. As you take shims out, it's going to move it this way, increasing positive camber. So right now we're at negative 0.5 to 0.6 camber, which is right, that's exactly on the spec. So this is where this has to be in order to hit both specs. If I continue to move the front bolt out, then I will start missing my camber spec. If I start trying to take shims out to get better camber, then I'll start missing my caster spec. It'll start going outside the range. So this is where I ended up on the driver's side. Now the passenger side is going to be quite a bit easier. Remember, back when these cars were made, they just weren't super high quality, so this mount is probably a little bit off from where it's supposed to be from the factory. So that's just how the shims themselves work and how you can adjust your caster and camber with this tool that I just showed you. The last part of this video is going to be rear camber. So in the front we've got caster and camber, and in the back we've got camber because this is independent suspension. So you're going to sit your apparatus up just like you would on the front. The only difference is we're not going to be turning the tires side to side. Instead, we're going to start with the same method of zeroing out the gauge in front of the wheel as close as we can on the ground, and then you just stick it on the side here, and that's going to give you your camber reading, which we're sitting at negative 0.1 right now. So that means we're going to have to adjust the bar underneath here. Now the Ride Tech kit has got adjustable bars. Your older Corvettes don't. They've got just a strut rod in there. So this black bar right here, that's what we're going to be turning in and out. So the wrench size on that is a 29 on the two nuts on the outside, and then the bar itself is a 32. So we're going to turn that out. That'll be a two-person job. We'll turn this out to negative 0.5, and it'll be done.